Come on, YouTube. There we go.
Are we live?
We're live.
Did it
now.
work? Did it work?
We were on time.
We were waiting. It's YouTube's fault.
I had the same problem in my live stream earlier today.
All right. Real quick, we need to do an audio test because this is a different setup. Can you all hear?
Hit 1 if you can hear.
Yeah.
1 if it's a good volume level, 2 if it's bad.
Can you hear me well though? Like, or is it like
1?
Okay, we're good.
Yeah,
okay,
1,
cool.
1. Cool. 2. Oh, no, overwhelming.
All right, too many people. Well, hey guys, welcome to the live stream and welcome to Daniel Greene in the flesh.
Hi, it's good to be here. We live in the same city.
Yeah.
Purely by chance.
So before we get started though, first of all, guys, thanks for joining us. If you don't mind going ahead and hitting the like button, YouTube promotes this stuff based on how many people hit that button. So as Daniel said in his live stream earlier today, smash that like button.
Yeah, it helps a lot. And my people here show it up. Give us the like. There you go. Just double.
Thank you all.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Hey, one other quick shout out before we get going here, guys. 2 things. One, I wanted to thank everybody who has been donating to the Make-A-Wish fundraiser that we've been doing on the channel. We've exceeded $1,000 in donations, which is freaking awesome. So thank you for that. Clap to all of you. We are still $4,000 to go. So as cool as that is, I'm going to keep pitching this. So if I randomly stop talking and say, hey, go donate, I'm going to put the link in the chat. But if you guys can, for every $5 that you donate to Make-A-Wish, you get entered into the contest to be on Wheel of Time Jeopardy. So if you want to take on Angry Trevor, Daniel tried that in round 1.
Angry Trevor knows his stuff.
And he won the second round on it too. So, well, hey, we really don't have much of an agenda. We really want to just basically respond to a lot of what questions you all have.
Guide the conversation.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So please shoot some questions in the live chat.
Well, just before we're waiting for that, we can go ahead and touch on like the latest big news, the big controversy that's come out is some Billy Zane comments that are completely unconfirmed, but apparently were said. We don't know if they're true or not, where apparently Billy Zane is claimed somewhere he might have the power to repraise his role. My take on that is I don't know if any of that is true at all, or even if it was said. So...
We were talking about this a little bit before we went on camera. I don't think Amazon buys the rights to the series. If Billy Zane can dangle hey, I can decide to do what I want card, companies that are that big don't let stuff like that go.
Yeah.
Now, here's the bigger question. What would you think if Billy Zane was recast as Ishamael?
I don't hate Billy Zane. It's not his fault. The last production was what it was. And he's actually a very well-known and respected actor. So I wouldn't hate that.
Do you think he fits the role? By the way, guys, maybe this goes without saying. And normally I can't throw up spoiler warnings on this video, but...
Spoilers.
Okay, so Wheel of Time spoilers here. What do you think he could play as Ishamael?
I think he's a fine fit. He's not my favorite ever, but I wouldn't be like, oh, that's horrible. Like, I'd be like, yeah, okay, he's a big grab name-wise, so I wouldn't be mad for that reason. But in terms of like who I picture Ishamael as, I picture him a little bit younger, and I picture him a little more zany than Billy Zane.
A little zany.
That's not who I pick.
I would love to see some of your. Okay, I'm doing always. I'm doing a horrible job.
Looking like Rand. That's not a problem until a different thing happens. Big spoiler warning.
Throw it out there. These are spoilers.
So he's not supposed to look like him until he's reborn as Moiraine. So I don't think that's a. There's gonna have to be 2 people playing this one character at one point.
If they take that adaptation route,
true. But you're gonna need 2 different actors to portray that role, which it adds a whole another layer there. So that would be I'd be curious to see if that I don't know if they'll cast 2 people. I've actually thought about that at all.
Well, here's the other question. Do they cast somebody separate for Luce Theron?
God, I don't know.
And how are they going to portray Luce Theron on camera?
Just have Nicolas Cage's voice echoing in the background.
Stealing the Declaration of Independence.
But yeah, it's I don't know. There's so much casting news. Obviously, we can talk about Daniel Henney a little bit. The latest casting news, he's going to be playing Lan. I've only been able to see a little bit from him. You watch Criminal Minds, so you have more experience with his acting than I do.
He's not okay. So let me, because I had a couple people say, "Well, you're a hack," which clearly I am, but or that I'm being paid by Amazon. Somebody made that comment to promote their actors that they're hiring. I wish I was being paid by Amazon, guys. If Amazon offers me a lot of money to promote their actors, sorry guys, I'm going to take it.
Yeah.
I'm a sellout.
Here's the thing: Amazon would not pay someone on our size to promote their show. They would grab someone with 7-figure subscribers to promote and care about their show, shifting the narrative way more than we ever could.
When PewDiePie starts promoting Wheel of Time, you know Amazon bought him. But so
Minecraft Wheel of Time.
Yeah. But no, when I gave my take, so let me clarify a little bit. I don't think he's an Oscar caliber actor. He's a model turned actor, guys. That's what he is. But we were talking about this before. I don't think the character of Lan requires an Oscar caliber actor, nor are we going to get that for everybody that they cast in the Wheel of Time.
Yeah.
If he can be a manageable, solid, like he can do I always pictured Lan with like that really stoic. I mean, that's how he's described. Stoic. He's got lined face. He's hard.
The Ned Stark role is not as hard to portray as the Daenerys role. It's the same thing here.
Right.
Lan is more stoic. He's more calm. It'd be a lot harder to play Padon Fane in this adaptation.
Right.
Although I don't think that's the hardest role either. Being over the top is actually not the hardest thing as an actor. Hashtag Heath Ledger's Joker is not that hard to do. Fight me about it.
So does that mean you don't think he deserved to win an Oscar?
Oh no, he deserved a lifetime achievement Oscar. I mean, his work throughout his life is amazing. But I just made half the people here hate me by saying.
I mean, his work in A Knight's Tale was just revolutionary.
I love that movie. I
It's a
didn't
good
know
movie.
anyone else had seen that.
I've seen it.
I thought it was like a dud from the.
Keep in mind, I'm old. I'm old, so.
Well, it came out like 2000 something. That's not that old.
You were like 5, so.
Okay, I was like 12.
Yeah.
All right. We
go back to questions here. Okay.
Let's see.
Nae'Blis. I love that. If you guys want to hashtag Nae'Blis, I'm all for it.
Let's see. Love Knight's Tale. Me too. Knight's Tale was fantastic. It's the only time I've seen Freddie Mercury music worked into a medieval movie, and it just worked. It was great. Let's see. Someone said Tim Allen for Tam. I very much so disagree with that. Sorry. Tim Allen is a comedian who has done what was even a Santa Claus movie?
Santa Claus, Home Improvement.
Again,
you're giving your age here.
Home Improvement was good. I've seen Home Improvement.
Okay.
I watched a whole documentary about the ending of it, but that's off topic. Let's see. We need questions here. Please don't spoil them. This is going to be spoiler filled. We're not going to worry about spoilers.
I'll say this: if we're going to spoil like the ending of the books or something like that, I'll definitely say so. So if you're at book 12, I think you'll be fine for most of the general stuff we're going to talk about. But be careful, please.
The whole series takes place in a snow globe, and it's in a girl's little dream. That's the ending.
Have you seen Lost? It ended just like that.
Tam the Tool Man Althor. I like that a lot.
Who do I think should play Loyal?
Oh, that's hard.
Anybody? Well, okay. So this brings up a bigger question: adapting the Ogier in general.
Yes, do it.
Daniel, I went on the phone about this earlier this week when we were planning this, and I made a controversial comment, and you guys are going to shoot me for it. If I were running the Wheel of Time show and I knew I had to make cuts, I would cut the Ogier. Not because I don't like them. I love Loyal. I love what he does. But as I talked about in one of my other videos, when you're making cuts, the most important part is the lack of collateral damage to the rest of the story. Like, could I cut this event and not have to cut out half the rest of the book or change it? I feel like you could cut the Ogier and not really destroy the story. Now, go ahead.
Okay. You're talking like technical, physical changings in the book, like how much you have to physically change this event. And you're not wrong. You're 100% right on that. But when it comes to the soul of the story, the Ogier are so integral to growing the world, adding this mythos. They add layers. They're like an onion. They add layers to the wheel of time.
You know it's an in-depth analysis when you say they're like an onion.
Exactly. That's the go-to cheapo. But I am very much so will be offended if they remove the Ogier in general.
Well, for all of you who are roasting me and saying not loyal, you're the worst, you look like an Ogier, whatever that is.
Oh my God, someone said that?
No, but I'm assuming somebody thinks it. I don't think they're going to cut him, and the reason I say that is Rafe did tweet at one point a glory to the builders tweet.
Okay.
So that makes me think, I mean, who else would they be referring to as the builders if not the Ogier?
Right. Okay.
So, yeah.
So here's the thing. Who should play loyal? That was a good question. I like that because a lot of people are going to throw out like giant actors. I don't like if you look at the guy who played Gimli, who's tiny, he's huge. The size of the actor is not proportional to an extreme size character because there's special effects, there's visual effects. You're fine. But when it comes to like embodying that grandiose, being able to speak the way he speaks and me taking him seriously, I have no idea. I'm not. I can't pin down someone, and like if Andre the Giant was still alive, but even then I'm going off of size, which you don't need to do.
Well, I can say this. I don't think it'll be a big name.
Yeah, it'll probably be a smaller because big names don't like being under all that stuff. And it'll be a lot of makeup.
Okay, so a couple of you have made comments about Carnival Row. I have not watched it yet, but it is on my list of things to binge. I'm excited to watch it, actually.
Okay, I started the first bit, and I just turned it off because it didn't hook me right away. I do plan on watching in the future, though. I'll give it another try. But I'm making my way through The Expanse right now, so that's taking up a lot of my time.
Mm-hmm.
Daniel Day-Lewis, we said smaller name, not the biggest name in acting.
Stubble McShave, thank you, sir.
How's it going? You were in my live stream earlier. Good to see you, bud.
Well, you guys already know what I would cast Daniel for. So what part would you cast each other in?
Oh man.
I mean, Daniel is just totally over to me. I mean, it's look at that face.
Like
look at that face. Right? I mean, he looks like he's got the baby face. He's annoying.
Oh, thanks. Let's see. What would I cast you as? I'd make you a White Cloak. You're gonna make me Oliver. I'll make you a White Cloak.
I mean, okay. So this is just a vindictive casting. I get it. Well, as long as it's Galad, I'm okay with that.
I'll make you background White Cloak number 17.
Like the red shirt White Cloak that
exactly.
gets killed.
Yeah. The White Cloak when the Trollocs appear just loses his shit.
Well, one of the ones that runs away when Varen and the crew are coming back to the White Tower in Dragon Reborn. Yeah.
What's the name of the guy who teaches the warders in the White Tower?
Hamar.
You'd be a good Hamar. I would do that. If I'm doing a serious casting, I'll give you Hamar.
I mean, that implies that I could like wield a sword and look like I'm fit in things.
It'll be like when Liam Neeson jumps the fence in that one movie. It'll be like 16 cuts for one.
Does anyone? Okay, so if I want to pick on a moment here, what is the most? I've thought about doing a video on this topic. I know you have before, because again, people do think I'm a Wheel of Time hack, and I am. But there are plenty of moments that I think are poorly written that I think could be changed. One of them is some things that are completely unbelievable to me, and that's Gawain beating Hamar with a sword. And that I hate Galad's plot line. Like, I feel like could be totally reworked.
Okay. See, I think combine the brothers. That's
I don't agree with that because I think they play different. I think if you do that, you're taking a lot. I think they could be done. I think you just need to do Gawain better.
Okay.
Galad takes a different route, and I think having that difference.
Hate all of Galad's.
Well, I don't think it's consistent. I think he's poorly written.
Okay.
That's what I think.
All right. See, I would go. I would change the entire ending of Out of the World. That's my big take. I mean, that's such a surreal. Like, it doesn't match anything else, and it's just this left turn. I would rewrite the ending. It's not that I disagree. I agree with you. I think it's difficult because we're seeing it from Rand's perspective. And basically what's happened is Rand got pulled into a dream shard. But we don't know that as the reader, and it's never really explained as that. But that's really what happened. Yeah. Now, the ending that is a little weirder, in my opinion, is the ending to The Great Hunt. Yeah.
That's a little bit more
that
like, what the hell? No explanation.
Why are they giant in the cloud? Did Shamael do that? Like, it's totally off the wall. I'm still confused.
And they're in the mist, and he doesn't know what's going on, and they can see him in the sky. Like, that doesn't. At least I could explain away the beginning or the end of the Eye of the World and saying Rand just didn't know what was going on.
I guess, yeah. If you had through that lens of like, this is just it's a scared farm kid.
Yeah, he doesn't know, and their perceptions are just off. So, yeah, that's the thing. Those are a couple things I would certainly change. I am going to make a video on this now that I think about it, give it some more thought. But
absolutely,
Gawain, I think it's stupid that he was able to kill a bunch of warders because he's still a young kid who was good but wasn't great.
Okay. Especially
he doesn't have a warder bond.
Yeah, and they're bonded, which means they are. Which can we talk about the inconsistently? There's a lot of inconsistency in the power boost of the warder bond, in my opinion. Like, land is able to take on multiple Murdral simultaneously, who are described as moving faster than human eyes can perceive, which means land is moving. I have no idea fast, like faster than I've seen Captain America move. Like, that is ridiculous. And he's just a warder, so what's happening there? I don't quite know. There's a theory that I actually like and explains away a lot of this, where people in the, like, your average human being in the Wheel of Time is stronger and better than your average person in the Earth because they're these ages ahead. Humanity has evolved to be stronger due to genetic stuff, and that's why everyone's just stronger like that. So I guess kind of, but really I just don't think land should be able to take on that many Murdral at once. Like, it's,
well, part of it can be explained away in that land people can beat Murdral without being warders,
right? But he was like 3 or 4. How many was it? It was a ridiculous number.
He could just be very skilled.
Yeah,
right. I don't know. I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just going to go through.
That's
Speaking of the Gawain Hamar fight, what off-screen moment from the books do you want to see in the TV series? I want to let you answer that first.
We've already been told that Rafe really likes Logain, so I'm assuming we'll get more Logain. But off-screen stuff. Well, we don't really get to see the creation of Dragonmount. We're told things happened and then it happens, but I would like to actually see that moment, that display of power on screen, not just we get up to it and then we cut to after. I'd like to see the creation of Dragonmount. That'd be pretty cool. I've heard someone's pitch that should be the show like opener, like Game of Thrones has their cities being built. Our show opener, every episode should be this explosion going off and making Dragonmount.
Come back to that because I want to answer the question first. My off-screen moments. I really want to see more of the plotting from the villains.
Okay.
Because to me, one of the things that makes villains compelling is not that you have to agree with the villain. It's not that. But I need to understand what motivates the villain.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. So, like, I want to see more of them as characters, not just twirling my mustaches and like that.
There's a bit of that in Wheel Time.
I want to see more, why am I doing this? What caused me? I want to see flashbacks about why they turned to the shadow. And have it be like I was beaten down or I was put down, and have it almost be like a legitimate path to going that way.
Yeah. And if we're going with your idea of keep all the Forsaken, I do think that must happen. If we're keeping them all, we have to spend more time with them to even be able to distinguish them all for the viewers. Thank you for the dono. Roll with Cole and Charisma. This is a great channel if you haven't checked them out.
I haven't. I'm going to check you out.
Yeah.
Everybody check out Roll with Cole and Charisma. Just want to say thanks for covering everything Wheel of Time. It makes the wait for the show way easier. You know what? It doesn't make it easier for me. It makes me want it more. Wow, I just said batter. I was about to say batter.
English is hard.
I was an English teacher, guys. It was and I was a batter English teacher.
Colin is a great point. Off-screen Shara. I would love to get glimpses of Shara.
I think if they're... So I'm torn on this. So I thought Shara came out of nowhere. Okay, crap. Spoilers for the final book.
Yeah, we've said that.
Spoilers, but I'm saying it now.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought Shara came out of nowhere.
It did. That's no doubt.
But I also think that was deliberate.
Yeah.
So because if we knew they were there, then we kind of knew that it wouldn't have been a surprise when it looked like the White Tower was winning and Demon Dread showed up.
So here's my thing with Shara. I think it was like attempted to Chekhov's gun it. Chekhov's gun, if you don't know, is basically like if you do a scene in a film and you show there's a gun under the table, that gun has to go off at some point. They tried to do that with Shara because Shara is mentioned offhandedly, but it's not positioned well enough in my mind for the sudden going off of the gun to make sense. Like, instead of there being a gun under the table, it's more like there's a decorative musket on the wall, and suddenly that decorative musket goes off. It wasn't quite built there enough for me. That's because it is talked about, but it's just not. It's not set up what exactly is going on.
I think here's what I think they either need to do with it, my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
I think they either need to keep it as off screen and then have it be the surprise that it is and explain it after the fact.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so it's still a surprise. Or they need to go in depth with what Demon Dread was doing there.
So I have fan fiction in my head. Do you want to hear this?
Let's hear it. Let's hear it.
So this is completely fan fiction. It's rewriting the literal series, but it's what I thought should have happened to justify Shara more and make that sudden appearance actually like make sense. So when Rand is cleansing Sayadine, I'm not going to say the taint because it just, but when Rand is cleansing Sayadine, I really wanted, so Demon Dread has this incredibly powerful weapon as well. I wanted like an echo. I wanted something like in Shara, everyone feels something over there now as like a response. I feel like that really would have set it up as like Rand does this, and then Demon Dread is powerful enough that people can feel it from way far away. That's demonstrated. And I would have loved to see an echo. That would have planted the seed in my head of like, what's going on over there? Because up to that point, I just thought Shara was, in Middle Earth, you have like the lands that are over there that never get involved with Sauron. It would have been, this is tying it in. I want to see that echo where Demon Dread is like, he feels it, so he responds by doing something.
I can see that.
Yeah.
I can see that. Because I think if you have not read the River of Souls short story that was released in, I think it's Unfettered 1, it's basically, I think that was in Unfettered 1. Do you know what I'm talking about? Where Demon Dread gets the Sarkhanen or whatever.
And it's slightly expanded on Unfettered 3.
Yeah. They could show more. They could show that on screen. We could show what he's doing, and I actually wouldn't mind if they showed him falling in love with the Sharan woman that he does fall in love with. It would give a little bit more depth because he really believes at the end of A Memory of Light that he can somehow save these people.
Yeah.
At the same time.
Do you think he actually cares about those people?
I think he cares about some of them. I think in a small way he does, because keep in mind he wasn't a straight up evil figure.
Yeah,
he was the hero of the light until he turned. I think he wants to be respected.
So who do you think is the most mustache twirling of all the Forsaken? Who is the most just bad for bad?
Cimarron. Cimarron's evil.
Yeah, I would even say she's sadistic.
Like, she's sadistic.
Yeah,
she's crazy. She's mentally off the...
Would you say that Ishamael is a villain? Or is he right?
He's not right. I talked about this in a book. Or in a video. I don't think he's right. Because, he can't be right. So here's where I'm going to go with this.
Okay. You're smarter than the smartest man of all the wheel time.
He can't be right, though, because let's explain Ishamael's argument. The reason Ishamael went to the shadow was because he viewed it as, given infinite number of chances, any event is likely to happen, which is a true story. If infinity is the truth, anything that can happen will happen. Okay? Here's the flaw in that. It already would have happened.
Well, you're viewing the time as literally cyclical, whereas Rand himself is...
But if it's infinity, okay, and the Dark One is outside of time, all he has to do is break the world once, and time ends.
Okay.
And that's his argument as well.
Okay.
So it could not have happened, so therefore it could not happen.
I'll give you that. Okay, let's accept the...
This is very, very philosophical.
Let's accept the idea that that's how time would work here. But he doesn't know that. No one knows that for sure in the world. So within the context of who he is, where he is he wrong? Is he a villain? With the information available.
I mean, I think that would have been part of the discussion. He doesn't, but it's for the same reasons that he's making that argument. I do think he should know that.
Okay.
That's my point.
Okay.
He should know that. Because again, his argument is that if infinity is going to happen, if the wheel's going to turn forever, then the Dark One will eventually win.
But he doesn't know if the Dark One wins, everything's broken. All of time.
He assumes that, correct.
Right.
But then he also makes a lot of assumptions that the Dark One has won in the past, because he's saying the dragon has served him.
Which is proven wrong.
Which is wrong,
yeah.
Right. So we know that his logic is screwed up somewhere.
Yeah.
But I do think his motivations are different. I think he genuinely believes he's right. Okay.
I am of the opinion he is not a villain in the sense that with the information and conclusions he has come to, he is not wrong. With the information he sits on, he's not necessarily wrong.
Fair.
I'll give him that. So I don't that's why I don't think he's necessarily like, well, obviously he kills people, does horrible things as a result. He's a bad guy. But like, I'm just saying ideologically.
Daniel thinks the shadow is right.
Exactly.
But I think his motivations are different because he sees the Dark One for what he is.
Yeah.
He's going to end things, not oh, I'm going to have unlimited power, and like, which is a lot of what the other ones wanted.
I will say that the dumbest Forsaken to me is Lanfear, because she is just basically playing with fire on both sides, and she thinks she can outsmart everybody, and it's like, you are wrong.
She is the character, and I said this in my character breakdown of Lanfear. I'm going to pitch my own video here. Go watch it. But to me, she's the biggest waste of a character in the story.
Wow.
What I mean by that is this. I don't hate her. I think she's okay.
Mm-hmm.
I think there are moments where I thought she was a very well-written character.
Yeah.
I love what she was doing in The Great Hunt and in Dragon Reborn. I love the subtle, like, stepping in and kind of stepping away and maneuvering things. I felt like she got into Crazy X territory, which she kind of was, but that's not a real. That's kind of
crazy X.
Yeah. And then I thought, okay, for her plots and schemes about what she was trying to do, she utterly and totally failed in every way. Like the whole thing, what she was doing with Perrin at the end of A Memory of Light was like, okay, like I know you're trying to set this up like she's actually going to come back to the light, and then I knew she wasn't.
Yeah.
Like it was clear she wasn't going to, because they were trying to set it up like she was.
I'm really happy like no one really gets redeemed on that level in Wheel of Time, because I don't buy the Darth Vader redemption idea. Like I don't buy that you can do one good act and undo thousands of years of horrendous acts. Like I'm sorry, I don't buy your redemption. Like I said this before, and I'll say it again. Darth Vader threw an old man down a hill. That doesn't make up for the fact that he slaughtered children.
Okay,
down a hole.
There's a point I want to hit on, because this is true. You may win here. I can't believe we're debating morality with a guy named Nae'Blis. So he wins.
Oh, we got another one.
Oh, another. Thank you again. Wheel of Time age cycles versus the Matrix program iteration. Similar. Yes. I watched the Matrix again the other day because it popped up in my queue, and I'm thinking in my head, this is an awful lot. There's a lot of parallels here.
For a long time, I thought the ending of the Wheel of Time was turning out that it's computer simulation. I had so many theories about that. I thought like the blips of like gases of evil coming up from the Dark One were viruses or like glitches in the system. And this is coming from someone who's a software engineer, so maybe I was a little bit biased. But
Double McShave, thank you again. What casting do you want next? Fane, Elida, or Ishii?
I want the rest of the love triangle fleshed out. That's my big next one. Min, Avienda, and Elaine.
Yeah, I actually don't care too much who plays Fane, Elida, or Shamel. I don't, because the Shamel is going to die.
Spoilers.
And Elida, they just need to get somebody that has, the lady, whatever her name is, that played Dolores Umbridge would be like a great Elida.
I want someone.
Sigourney Weaver.
Yeah, I want someone who's really cold. I want someone who's like
Sigourney Weaver.
Okay. I've always, for some reason, thought a little. I don't know. What's her name? Jennifer Alias.
I don't know who that is.
Jennifer. Someone here. Alias.
Jennifer Garner.
Jennifer Gardner. Yeah. Thank you.
I was thinking you were talking about somebody with the last name Alias.
No.
And I was like, I don't know who that is. Okay. Let's actually read some comments, because we've been talking a lot. Maggie Smith for Cadswain. I would love that. I think she's just a little too old now. Maggie Smith.
Billy saying is Cadswain. All right,
he could do it.
He's not a bad.
Who would you cast as Elaine? Somebody that I've never heard of, Dream Master.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I don't think they're going to cast anybody that we've heard of.
I like nobodies. I like knowing someone's career is made by being in this show. I
do too.
Love. Yeah, and I get to watch them the rest of my life, like grow as an actor.
I'll tell you one person that's going to piss half of you off. If they cast Sam Elliott as Tom, I will be more mad than any of the other castings.
They're going to have to cast someone young and then make them look older, because there's no way an actually old actor could pull off the physical feats Tom needs to pull off. And I don't think they should cut those physical feats. I think they need to get someone in their 40s who's in great shape and then age them up to look a lot older.
Yeah, I just can't see it.
Yeah.
Cardi B is Swan Sanche. Now, there we go. Only
if she does the stuff all the time.
And then says something about fish.
Exactly. I call some fish.
How about casting Daniel Greene as Cardi B?
All right.
You guys like that impression?
All right. Bruce Campbell is Tom. I don't know who Bruce Campbell is. Who's Bruce Campbell?
I know the name.
Yeah. Can you put some movies in there?
It's John Mayer. Commenting it, John Mayer.
I don't think it's the John Mayer.
Yeah, too bad. I wish. I did find this out. So Daniel and I found this out, and we feel I'm not going to say any more than this, but the people that got cast in the show watched our videos when they were applying to be on the show.
I've been told similar, and I'm very excited to hear that.
That's pretty cool. Also, so maybe they're watching this and hearing how not to do the show.
I've also, it makes me think about every time I've been wrong, and I'm sorry because I have been wrong.
Guys, if they do a poor job, it's not their fault.
It's me. It's mine.
Blame him. All right, Georgie.
She really loved Rain.
Because and again, she did love power. Okay, so let me say this. Let me finish my comment on Lanfear about why I think she was. I think that I wish she had more impact in a negative way in the story. She never did anything really other than taking out Moiraine, but that was Moraine's choice. That one moment is really the only time that
she was a catalyst repeatedly, but there was never any cathartic resolution with her arc. And I agree with you on that. I want something because like how she ended up dying, I was like, that wasn't set up at all. It just fell out of nowhere.
Well, let's Game of Thrones spoilers. Why did people want Joffrey to die? Or why? Because he was evil. Yeah. Like you saw him do horrible things. You hated Ramsay Bolton because he had an impact and he did horrible things. Like you wanted Cersei to get it what was coming to her because she did horrible things. I feel like
do some bad stuff.
I mean, I guess she did skin somebody alive, but he was a dark friend.
Okay.
So
she also like invades.
By the way, there's no violence whatsoever in the Wheel of Time. If you didn't know that, I've been told that.
Oh my God. Okay, for those of you who keep saying the Wheel of Time needs to be PG, no, you did not read these books. There is violence. There is sexual assault. There is horrific torture. You're wrong. You're just because they don't
objectively
swear
wrong
doesn't mean this is a whole. Perrin cuts a man's hand off and then goes, "I will remove every limb from your body and leave you as a husk if you do not tell me what I want." That's not PG, man. Like, no.
But they could cut away.
Oh my God.
I'm just saying. Okay.
And
fade to black there. Fade to black. Sorry, I'm belittling.
More Black Tower is something I completely agree with.
100% agree.
Yeah. The Ashaman in general, I would love to spend more time with. Ashaman and Aes Sedai, I want to spend more time with. Let's see. Rand and Box are rated. Definitely. That is psychological torture I would not show a child. Matt has what happens to him. There's a lot. Okay. I want to spend more time with Galina and Thurava. I don't know why my contacts are
That's interesting because I think most people would probably carry the different opinion of that. By the way, I looked it up. It's Shido.
Really?
Yeah.
It's not Shido?
Not
Michael
Shido.
Kramer and Kay Redding say they were wrong.
Well, they're wrong a lot of the time.
Yeah,
but
that's true.
Shido is how it's pronounced. So,
okay. But more time with Varen.
Yeah.
100% more time with Varen.
She, to me, is one of the best characters. I love her from the get-go.
Do you want to see new spring stuff in the show?
Very little of it, and only as a flashback.
But what?
I think the only things that are really pertinent to the story, in my opinion, would be Moiraine meeting Lan, if we're fleshing out Lan's character more, and Lan becoming her warder.
Okay.
And then I think the only other thing there is flashing back to why she started on her quest. So her and Swan starting this thing years ago.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
That's it. I don't think there needs to be anything else.
I also want more Swan Sanche earlier on. I want to get to know her better earlier on. That way her deposition means so much more. Okay, sorry.
Wheel of Time needs to be 18 plus, in my humble opinion. Actually, Game of Thrones not as brutal. I agree. Again, guys, this is the crazy thing. I'm going to say something controversial. If I'm looking book to book, there is less nudity and less violence in A Song of Ice and Fire than there is actually in Wheel of Time. Now, explicit sexual situations, no.
Yeah.
More nudity, yes.
Yeah, well, because you have an entire culture that just has the titties out all the time. Like that's just how they roll.
Yeah. There's a couple of those actually.
A couple of those, yeah. So, and here's something I want to put on top. It's kind of similarly here. The way what you're seeing there is a difference in writing style. George R. R. Martin goes into detail for brutal things. Robert Jordan does not. And that's why people can walk away from a pretty brutal Wheel of Time scene and go, there's torture happening with magic. And magic torture is the worst torture because they can just, you should be dead, heal you, let's do it again. That happens in the Wheel of Time. So I don't know. I don't get where the Wheel of Time is so wholesome idea comes from. It's not accurate.
Coach RJ, I think Varen's reveal is what makes us want more Varen.
Mm-hmm.
But does putting more Varen take away from the impact of the reveal?
Not if you keep the reveal very well hidden still.
I think if they even add some more. So, okay, I'm old enough to remember people from as way back as Dragon Reborn were thinking Varen has to be a Darkfoot. Mm-hmm. But nobody was ever sure. Like, that was a big theory post because she lied.
Yeah, she
right?
lied.
She said Moiraine sent her. Moiraine later said she didn't. So people were like, well, no, maybe Moraine's a Darkfoot. Like, people thought that. That was a big debate.
Yeah.
I think if you add a couple more of those moments where I'm not sure where Varen's loyalties lie,
yeah,
or more, I actually think they need to do that with Moiraine.
Yeah, and if the writers are smart enough to where Aes Sedai are spinning truths so creatively, I think we could make Varen just lie a couple times, and your average viewer will just go, I'm sure she was right somehow, and write it off, because most people aren't crazy like us and diving into stuff so deep.
Adam Sandler as Asmodean.
Nope. Okay, I will say Adam Sandler does have a couple good performances under his belt. Punch Drunk Love is a really good performance from Adam Sandler.
What's the one movie that always makes me cry? Click.
I've never seen it.
Terrible good movie.
Okay.
All right.
Miranda is Asmodean. I don't know why, but I don't like that man. He's great. Everything he's done is awesome. I have no justification for it. He just rubs me the wrong way, and I can't defend it. I'm sorry.
I'm not going to comment there.
Yeah.
Ed Sheeran needs
to get his hands out of fantasy.
Yep, agreed. That was a cringy scene.
Yeah. Just to rifle up everyone. I'm really glad you said that.
Thank you. I about unsubscribed from Kings. I'm joking. I would never have done that. I'm joking. By the way, if you haven't subscribed to Kings and Generals, go do that. Well, you should.
If you like history and learning about things in a fun and awesome way. All right, let's see. Okay, who would you cast as Fane? Because they're saying Alan Cummings is Fane.
I mean, Alan Cummings would be a great Fane. I don't think they're going. Actually, I actually could see them. I take that back. I could see them casting a B-level actor for Fane.
Do you want? Okay, if budget is no option, I can choose anyone.
Go for it.
Okay, this is such a basic white girl answer, but I want it more than anything. Andy Serkis. I just love the man. I want him in my Wheel of Time, and he would nail it. The fact that he doesn't have an Oscar is like one of my biggest gripes with Hollywood right now.
He would nail it.
Yeah.
The problem is he's my secondary casting for Bella. So now maybe he could do both. If you guys have not seen my Bella casting video,
quality video,
it's a good one. It's very serious as well.
Andy Serkis could do Loyal and Fame due to VFX.
Honestly, Andy Serkis could play all of the VX.
His performance as Theresa May, golden. If you haven't seen that, look it up. Let's see. More Hopper. I will never say no to that. You could turn the entire show into a wolf documentary, and I wouldn't be that mad.
How do you think they're going to do Wolf Dream? How are they going to do Wolf Dream, communicating with wolves? Are they going to communicate with wolves?
I don't want some annoying filter that's just there. What I would rather they do is more like audio and, just like audio cues for us. Maybe like some kind of distortion that's very subtle, nothing over the top, nothing dramatic, because that'd be annoying.
I don't think we're going to hear wolves talk.
No.
I think what you'll hear is like if Daniel was a wolf and he sends me an image and I'm Perrin, I think Perrin then says, "You mean go there?" Like I don't know if it'll be that subtle, but I think there's non-visual or non-verbal ways that they can communicate it in a way that doesn't seem cheesy. I think that is actually a challenge. Making that look not cheesy.
With all the things they have to face and everything being so difficult, I would just for that one say give the wolves talking. Because there's so many decisions they have to make. And that one...
You don't think it'll look really stupid seeing a wolf talk?
I don't want his mouths to move. No mouth moving at all. I just mean telepathic communication. And we'll have Perrin explain it as I'm not getting words, but to us, the audience, it'll be words. Because I don't want like a slide picture show going by. And I don't want the actor clumsily going, "Oh, you mean I can't do that in the world of dreams," and saying like a long drawn out, "That's not how people talk" thing. I would rather we just get a telepathic, deep voice, Morgan Freeman as Hopper voice kind of thing coming in.
I mean, who wouldn't want to listen to Morgan Freeman do anything?
Yeah, pretty much.
Morgan Freeman is loose there.
Oh man, you'll get people mad with that.
I know I would. I know.
Hugh Jackman as who would you make Hugh Jackman?
Wolverine.
Okay, well.
well, Hugh Jackman.
Just put him in the Wheel of Time. Put Wolverine in the Wheel of Time.
Literally, Hugh Jackman could play. he could. I mean, we already have a Lan. He'd be a great Lan.
Oh,
He could be a
I
great Tom.
was about to say he'd be a phenomenal Tom. Yes, he has a Broadway experience.
There's very little that Hugh Jackman is a like top A-list actor, entertainer in general. Yeah. So I put him like he is in a category that there's a couple people that kind of fit into the, like Bradley Cooper now has ascended to me to being like a top tier in every like there's not anything that he can't do.
Yeah.
So if they want to hire Bradley Cooper to play something as well, he can be anything.
And I would also
there's randomly a fly that I've not even seen a fly in my house. You brought it with you.
Apparently.
Okay.
Like speaking of weird actors, I wouldn't have called being on that level. Matthew McConaughey is now one of the actors where I'm just like, he can do whatever. He's amazing. And wow.
Matthew McConaughey is in my favorite movie of all time. So
Wolf of Wall Street?
No.
Dallas Buyers Club.
No, his first ever movie. Dazed and Confused.
Oh, Dazed and Confused.
It's my
Great
favorite movie ever.
Oh.
So I love that movie.
In the book I'm narrating right now, I have to do a Texan accent, and I'm just impersonating Matthew McConaughey.
The Dark One sent a fly to disrupt Daniel and Nae'Blis' life. Yeah, again, I think he did.
It makes sense.
Or, okay, weird moment in the series. Speaking of flies, what the heck was going on when Rand was in the little cabin in The Great Hunt? And he's having like the flies, and then it resets, and then more flies, and then it resets.
So everyone assumes those bubbles of evil have to be like as dramatic as we saw. I figured that was just an alternative bubble of evil. I don't think we get to interpret every bubble as evil as direct as an axe coming at you. I think a lot of it is more subtle. Some of the weird, just odd twisting of fate we see that's bad. I think that's similar. I think it's just that a line of reasoning in my interpretation of it. Do you disagree?
I agree with you. I attribute a lot of the weird abnormalities in the first two books to not being RJ didn't know what he was doing, because I think he actually had more of his world fleshed out than we realized. But he does. It's not unreliable narrator, because I know you hate that term.
I do.
But well, it's a real term though. I think, because what he does is he writes through the eyes of a narrator, but these narrators that we're feeling the story through don't know very much.
The only thing I don't like is the over application of unreliable narrator.
Well,
people throw it on everything.
What I mean, here's where I'm applying it here.
Right.
Okay, what I'm applying it here is this is the way Rand is interpreting those events, and he has no idea what's going on. And so, since we're looking at it through his eyes, we have no idea what's going on.
Okay.
So I attribute a lot of the quote unquote inconsistencies, like the end of Eye of the World, to being something like, I think if I knew what I knew in A Memory of Light, I know that what Ishamael did was brought Rand into a dream shard. And Rand walked into it, because you notice it's the same place that Ishamael was having them in his dreams. It's the same fire that had no heat to it. He could control around it.
Right.
That's the world of dreams.
Yeah. All right, so how about if someone keeps putting flicker? How do you want to adapt the flicker scene? How should we flicker?
By the way, go back and re-listen to Michael Kramer read that scene.
It's so funny.
Weird.
As someone who's narrating audiobook, I cannot imagine going through that. What I would do is I'd say flicker 3 times, copy the audio, and just paste. That is how I would handle it.
I think I'm going to make that my ringtone. When Daniel texts me, I'm going to have to go flicker, flicker, flicker. Okay. But how do I think they should do that? I think it'd be really cool. I just don't know how.
It'd be a whole episode.
It would be.
It would be an entire episode.
It would be but that's one of those episodes that sort of like, what is the name of it? If you guys watch Westworld, the side episode with the Indians history, it's the one that Uta Bresowitz directed. It's my favorite episode of the series. That was a total aside kind of to the full story. It was important to the story, but it wasn't the story in Westworld.
The flicker stuff's really important because our characters learn things there. They get better at what they're doing because they have these lives of experience suddenly they vaguely remember under their belts.
I would also liken that to the episode where the Hound has a whole episode with the Hound.
I love that episode.
Yeah, again, it has nothing to do with the rest of the story, but if we do occasional ones of those, I think they'll need to do that with the flashbacks to when Rand's going through the Wayback to Umbriel and Roydion.
Okay.
With the Aiel. You don't want that to be a whole episode. I would love to see that be a whole episode.
Yeah, that'd be great. I just think it's going to be difficult. I mean, every time you do a side, we just pulled from 2 great examples of sidebars, but there have been some very bad ones. And that just takes a careful execution. Let's see. They should cut Luca. I hear that a lot.
I think it could be done.
Yeah.
Again, what are they doing, though, while they're running? every time I hear a cut, here's what I'm asking myself. Would the cut actually cut anything? Okay, so here's what I mean by that. So if I removed that, would I have to put something else in for them to be doing? Because they have to do something to make the plot work. Or could we cut that part out and have them just skip that part entirely and go? So for instance, the times they're with Luca. Luca's shows up after they leave Terabon, right? That's how they get out. So they're leaving Terabon after, what is that, Shadow Rising? Or no, Luca's show is after Shadow Rising. It's the next book. It's Fires of Heaven.
Yeah.
So Luca's show is Fires of Heaven. It's when they're leaving Terabon, they're leaving, and so they end up taking his show, they perform, they do all their stuff until they finally get to Saladar. Could they skip that? I think they might be able to skip that.
Yeah, but there's also the other side of it where would it be an improvement to remove it? I mean, it's not, no book is flawless. Is an improvement to remove it. And I think with the Lucas stuff, it's debatable. I mean, everyone has a different, I'm sure there's some people out there who love it. I think they could change it so it's better, or they could cut it entirely. It's not a binary situation here. There's different routes. And depending how they execute it, each one could work. That's the frustrating thing from being on our outside perspective. We don't really know. We have to say what we think and then move on from there. How should they focus on my boy Narg? I would cut Narg.
I don't think Narg's gonna. I don't think Trollocs are gonna talk.
Yeah, I'm sorry. It's so out of place, and it's so just no. That never happens again. It's so weird.
Okay, so Will Moiraine is a point of view character from the start of the show, likely expose a lot more of the world building. So I want to set something straight, at least my interpretation of this. So many people have keyed on the Amazon releasing of, hey, Moiraine, and then she's the main character, and all these other people are around her. To me, I don't actually take that at face value, folks. Daniel may have a different opinion on this.
To me, it read like, okay, someone in a press junket release room was like, I need to write up something about Wheel of Time. And they got a tiny bit of information and extrapolated from there. I mean, it's just a press release. We don't know how strategic those are. We don't know who wrote it up. I have no idea. So that everyone is keyed onto with something that is still just a paragraph that was put out. So who knows?
Who is here? To me, here's the question: who's the biggest name that they've cast?
Rosamund Pike, without question.
Right?
Yeah.
So if they're gonna, and they knew that Rosamund Pike was involved, I think from the very early on. I don't think she was, hey, we cast her this week, and then they announced it. Like, because she's also credited as a producer on the show.
Yeah.
I think there were talks probably there for a while, or they knew whether they got her or not. They knew they were going to spring and spend some money to get an A-list actress to play Moiraine. So when they released that press release on that, to me, of course, they're going to highlight the actor or actress they're bringing on. Do I think that means that they're going to rework the story to be entirely about Moiraine? No. And also point of view, keep in mind, point of view chapters in a book, we get to hear their inner monologue. We don't see that on the show. Yep. So they can show Moiraine, but still have her intentions be very, very mysterious. Right? I don't think it has to be it's gonna spoil anything, to answer your question. So okay.
Actually, I have a question for you. Complete out of the field ballpark, what would you add to the show that's not already there? What is something you would like to see where it's not there, but you would like to see, you think it would improve it to have this Nae'Blis idea thrown in?
Well, I kind of already hit on this. I really want to see the Forsaken expanded.
Okay.
It's the Forsaken and their backstories, flashbacks to who they are, what motivates them, and more about what they're doing in the places they are.
Yeah, that would
because
help.
To me, if they do that, they've got a lot of compelling villains that drive the plot. And those villains, it also makes what Rand's decision later in the book become more real. As it's not just this, and Rafe has already said it's not about good and evil necessarily. And in reality, guys, it really isn't about good and evil necessarily. It is about chaos and order. And there's different themes at play with the yin and the yang. That's the whole Wheel of Time anyway.
Well, the idea of it being just good and evil is thrown out with one of the futures that the Dark One shows Rand. When he shows them that with a world with no evil is a horrible thing, right, where you don't have freedom. Robert Brandon, I don't know who wrote that scene. One of them did. They very specifically put that there to show you that is not the point of the Wheel of Time.
Mm-hmm.
I've always thought the point of the Wheel of Time is to show you that life isn't good or evil. It's about friends. It's about pulling together. It's about strength and unity and all that. That's why Rand gives that monologue at the end. It's not me, it's us. That's his whole monologue there.
And that's the whole push to try to break Rand throughout the books. I mean, they could have tried to kill Rand earlier.
Mm-hmm.
They tried to break him most of the time.
She tried choking out men was very much so. We're going to break you through this kind of thing.
And I think having the Forsaken being people that had similar levels of power to him, that were broken.
Yeah, they didn't have the will he did. Two Rivers' stubbornness is what beat the Dark One. Let's see. Tormund as Ruark. Who's Tormund?
The guy the redheaded Tormund Giantsbane from Game of Thrones.
Oh, I thought they were saying an actor. Oh, yeah. They did. Okay, yeah. That would work. There we go. Yeah, that's good.
Henry Winkler is Bashir. I could not take that seriously. The Fawns.
Hey! I'm still saying if budget's not an option, Ewan McGregor is the perfect Tamil Thor. That's just how that is in my head. Let's see.
Okay.
The guy who. Let's see. What do we got here?
How do you think they should show men's visions?
That's a good question. It's very clearly described as her looking around people and seeing things. And I think with VFX, you can do that just fine. Hell, Parks and Rec in the last episode is showing things on screen like through VFX that look good. We can do that, no problem.
As long to me, I want practical effects as much as possible. Not that you can show visions with practical effects.
There's a guy in a green scoop.
Not that you could do that there. But to me, practical effects, if they're done right, look real. So I want the Trollocs to not be CGI necessarily as much as I want them to be costume.
Well, the best is blended.
Yeah, blended.
The best is blended. Yeah. And men's vision could be CGI here, but they throw real fire up or something.
Yeah. What I do want though is when they do visual effects, I want them to be good. Because again, I'll tell you guys, I talked about this in my last video, the Shannara Chronicles, highly rated, weirdly enough, for as much hate as it gets. 7.5 million viewers for its first couple episodes, which is crazy. Guys, that's way more than Game of Thrones got. Like 7 times what Game of Thrones got for its first season. So, but it was bad. It wasn't as bad as most people give it credit for, but a lot of the badness of it was the horrible visual effects.
Yeah.
Like it's really cheesy CGI, like monsters and stuff like that. They just looked terrible.
I watched a little bit since we talked, and it's also the incredibly stilted acting.
Well, sure. And they hired a bunch of models.
Yeah.
And so the people saying, by the way, that, and I talked about this in the last video, the people saying that they are hiring a bunch of models for this show, I don't agree with that. No. I don't. From what I've watched, a lot of these people, now again, Daniel Henney is probably the closest thing to a model actor because he is a model turned actor. But the other ones, like the guy that played Parent, really, really good actor in a serious dramatic role.
Go watch his movie that's on Amazon. It's fantastic. And here's what I'll say. I still, of course, have a little bit of worry about the show. As soon as the budget is announced and it's big, if it is, I will be satisfied. And pretty much all of my worries will go to rest, because it's sad to say, but this is very true. In today's TV show landscape, money buys quality. It just does. And if things are expensive and they look good, then we're satisfied.
And here's why I'm optimistic there. If this show was on Netflix, I would be worried. Netflix does not tend to give as high of a budget for their shows. Amazon, I have not seen an original show from Amazon that has not had a close to $8 to $10 million an episode budget.
They gave Lord of the Rings $1 billion. They're not going to now be stingy with Wheel of Time. And I've heard a lot of people say that Wheel of Time and Lord of the Rings will be pulling audiences. I think Amazon will very much so, one, stagger their releases, and also make it so after every episode of Lord of the Rings you finish, do you want to watch this Wheel of Time? And then just autoplay it, and they'll just make the audiences merge. Amazon is having this massive push, huge push, to start being a valid streaming service. And these shows, these two, seem to be their biggest investments right now. Carnival Row almost seems like an experiment, before the storm. Like it's there here. Let's try this and now go.
I haven't seen Carnival Row, so I'm not going to speak to. But what I can tell you is from the previews of Carnival Row, that looks high quality.
Yeah.
Okay. I can't speak anything beyond that.
I can speak to the first 10 minutes, and it looked good. I just wasn't hooked in by it was a bunch of people being shot, and I was late at night, so I was like, I'm not in the mood. We gotta.
Oh, hey, Alan. Thank you, sir. Working on
BRK.
Oh, Matt with the dagger acting it. I'm not sure what you're asking.
I'm not sure what you're asking there.
Alan, you don't need to donate again, but clarify what you're asking, and I'll absolutely answer that. Or if somebody else is smarter than us can interpret. 1 week. Okay, the one question here: 1 episode per week or all at once?
1 episode per week, please, for the love of God and all that is holy.
I'll start from a completely selfish standpoint. It would make my life as a content creator much easier.
So much easier. But on a cultural standpoint, it allows us to speculate and theorize together and be hooked in. Yeah. And I don't believe the binge model is as profitable as once a week.
Well, Netflix is turning away from it.
Yeah, Netflix is now going to be doing a once a week release for a lot of its shows in the future. And I think the binge culture for an initial release is a bad thing.
Yeah.
Did Alan come through here again? I feel bad,
Alan. Do you think he will do it well? Are you talking about the actor that's going to play Barney?
I've seen a couple things with Barney. He's got the charm down. He's got the charm down in spades.
Barney is the one of the actors that was released that had the least footage out there of him as a direct starring role. So it's harder for me to say, man, he's the... from what I've seen, he played a fairly dramatic role in the movie. It's such a long title.
It's like
Long Walk.
Yeah, something or other, yeah.
But he plays a soldier that is kind of a jokester that kind of goes through the horrors of war and has some PTSD. Yeah. He does a great job in that role, has limited lines, but does a great job in it. So I would watch that. That's a very good movie, by the way.
It is.
So that was one of the ones that when they released the cast, I watched that movie that night. But so Sandra says, I enjoyed Carnival Row. Visually, it was stunning. I like 1 episode per week. Water cooler chat makes waiting fun. Exactly. 100% agree, Sandra. And I'm glad Carnival Row was visually stunning because I think Wheel of Time needs to be visually stunning.
And what just the 10 minutes of Carnival Row I saw proved to me. So a lot of streaming services have a problem where a lot of their shows feel the same. Carnival Row felt entirely different in that first 10 minutes than The Boys did to me. And that I was just immediately like, oh, okay, good. This formulaic, like HBO, amazing shows, but you can feel an HBO show. In my experience. And it looks like Amazon does not have that problem. And I think that's because they give a lot of control to these people who are running it, like Rafe.
Hey, slight pause here real quick. Again, to everybody, guys, we're running a fundraiser here on the channel. I'm trying to raise money for Make-A-Wish, trying to raise $5,000. We are about a fifth of the way through that. I'm going to post the link here in the chat again. If you can find it in your hearts to give some money to help some critically ill children, please click the link. For every $5 that you donate up until this coming Tuesday, you can be entered in the contest to be a part of Wheel of Time Jeopardy. But, by the way, you can say, hey, I don't want to be entered in the contest. Some of you don't want to be on Jeopardy. I would love and appreciate all of you who could donate. And while I'm talking about that, please also go ahead and like the video. Click the like button on the video. It helps, I almost said Amazon. It helps YouTube share the content because they don't always promote these live streams. Go give
$1 to Make-A-Wish kids. Who's not going to go do that? I'm going to do it after the stream's over. Go donate. It's awesome. And it's just $1 appreciated immensely for me as well.
Yeah. Thank you to anybody. And if everybody on the stream gave $1, I would be giddy with excitement. But I appreciate you all. Thank you for doing that. So we'll hit on a few more questions here. Trevor is in here. Angry Trevor, play Jeopardy against me. Someone dethrone me for Pete's sake.
You won't. He's very, very good.
He's very good at this. So, and MK really wants another shot at it.
Should they split Ishi's role with Moiraine?
What do you mean by that?
I think they get 2 different characters.
Have them be 2 characters or just 2 actors? Because I think they're going to be 2 actors.
It's going to be 2 different actors. Yeah. Let's see. To what extent do you guys think / hope they will adhere to the exact dialogue of the novels? Oh, man, that's a good question. And I'm going to say something people are probably going to disagree with. Change it. Because when you're changing mediums, dialogue that is spoken is not always sound as good as it does in the books. That was poor phrasing on my part, but you know what I mean. You do need to change dialogue because fantasy authors are amazing, but they don't often or always write words that sound good coming out of an actual person's mouth, and you don't catch it because you're reading it. So they do need to change things. That's an inevitable conclusion. I mean, go to Lord of the Rings adaptations. Very little of the dialogue actually comes through. It's just how it is.
I'm going to get torched for saying it, but I always do. Guys, I love the Wheel of Time swearing system. Love it. I think it's cool to read. I think it's going to sound terrible and cheesy, and it'll feed the stereotype of cheesy, bad fantasy for all of the non-Wheel of Time readers. All of us readers will love it. I'll be like, oh, he said light or bloody, and that's cool. But like for Blood and Bloody Ashes, yeah, like that. Those are things that will be great for us readers. If I have somebody I'm trying to get into this, if that's the only swearing in the books, I think it's going to seem cheesy. You may have a different opinion.
A little bit. I mean, I lived in Europe for a little bit, and people do say bloody and stuff like that. They say bloody over there, and it sounds fine. To me, that comes down to what the accent you're using is, because Americans cannot pull off saying bloody. Bloody hell! It doesn't.
Let's save some kids. Thank you, Xavier. Me, Xavier.
Just to be clear, the donos here, are you putting the donos here towards?
I can actually, yeah. If anybody donates here, I'll give them towards Make-A-Wish myself. But here's my question: how excited are you guys to see Aes Sedai leashed as Damani? I don't think they need to shy away from this, and here's why I say that: it's not to me that I condone slavery in any way, shape, or form. So just because a writer writes something doesn't mean that Robert Jordan secretly likes to have women leashed. Okay,
it's supposed to send a mess. It's supposed to be metaphorical and allow growth. And it's something like that, and I think they should absolutely show it.
I don't think they need to shy away from it. I don't think they need to shy. As bad as it sounds, when for the portrayals of things that are bad, I don't think they need to shy away from violence. Even the rape, and I hate rape. Okay, I'm not saying that they need to have that hot take, right? But I don't think they don't need to necessarily show it, but we need to know. Right.
All that matters here is how you show it.
And
if you show it as a horrible, awful thing like leashing and all this stuff, then that's fine. Context of how you're showing it is everything. Obviously, if they show Damani and they're like, isn't it the greatest thing ever? And it's displayed that way, I'd have a problem with that for many reasons. But in the Wheel of Time, the leashing is presented as this vile, nauseating thing. And as long as they communicate that, you don't need to tone it down at all. Let's see. Mother's piss in a cup. Is that said in the Wheel of Time?
No, mother's milk in a cup.
Okay, there we go.
Sounds better.
Yeah, it sounds a little bit better. Let's see. Yeah.
So many comments so fast.
Yeah. When do you guys find the funniest moments of the book series? Mine is funniest moments in Wheel of Time. I think one of the most it doesn't make me laugh out loud, but Matt's speech about boots, I just love. It's so charming. I love it. Just like two boots. That's all you need.
We're going to disagree.
Really?
That's the thing I think I can point to that I felt like that's Sanderson writing Matt.
Really? I dug it.
Because I felt like it was so not Matt.
Okay.
But all that means, guys, is Daniel's wrong.
Okay.
I'm just joking. No, it's funny. So basically, probably some of the funnier moments are going to be Matt. Right, because he's meant to be funny.
Yeah.
Right. Sorry. Let's hit on some of these. Stubble McShave. They must combine Aes Sedai to fewer speaking parts.
Yeah.
We don't need 250 Aes Sedai that we know by name. I agree with that. I think Ramonda.
Greg Kinnear is Tamil Thor, something I've said many times, and it's absolutely right. Greg Kinnear would make a great Tam.
I think that would be really good.
Yeah.
I agree.
If you have not seen his movie, he's in a movie that's wonderful. What's it called? I'm such a bad memory. Stuck in Love. Very good movie by Josh Boone. He's a friend of the channel of mine. Matt, funny moments. You don't like the boot moment.
It's not that I don't like it. In fact, it's not that I don't like anything that Sanderson wrote. To me, that was just one of the scenes that it was very obvious that Sanderson wrote it.
Okay.
Because it wasn't Matt's voice.
Okay.
That's all
I just think of other monologues Matt's given, and to me, it felt at least in a similar spirit.
I'm trying to think of a standout, really, really laugh out loud, funny.
Tom has a lot of them. Tom's underrated for comedic moments. He is.
I actually think. I think I will. I apologize, by the way, because the light is right here, so I'm actually looking a whole lot paler and shinier than I normally am. Daniel gets the good lighting.
That's because I'm tactfully ducking out of it.
There we go. That looks better. I'm not quite as pale. My head is shining.
There's actually, comedic moments. I think Nynaeve yelling, I'm not yelling. I really enjoy that. If that's delivered right, it can be great.
I like Nynaeve a lot.
Yeah, she has she's underrated comedic moments.
Well, her hypocrisy is what's funny.
Yeah. It's speed up. We need to get there quickly. Slow down. Like we're not in the
Elaine's red fluted rod. It was funny.
Yeah.
Half of you won't know what I'm talking about. You can Google it.
Real Wheel of Time fans.
Yeah. Some of you do.
Avienda's got some great stuff. Yeah, there's a lot of comedy spattered throughout there. I'd say the least funny character is probably Perrin. Perrin's great. I love Perrin. There's not a lot of comedy.
Perrin's bland.
Yeah.
He's deliberately bland. I don't mean that in a...
Yeah. The only comedy that's delivered is between him and Fael, and that stuff never really landed for me. I never really laughed at their whole back and forth spanking thing. That was...
Not a fan of that.
I'm a fan of that. But in a different...
Spanking Fael? In a different context, I guess, right. Maybe.
But let's see. Mistress Luhan and Frying Pan? Absolutely. Yeah, I mean... Oh, how do you want them to... Okay, Two Rivers, amped up or played down?
Ramped up, because it's the setting for Shadow Rising.
Okay.
I mean, we're going to spend a whole lot of time there. To me...
So you want it to be even more?
Yeah. So,
holy crap.
Jennifer, thank you. You rock.
Holy crap.
Thank you so much, Jennifer. Guys, I want to give a quick shout out to Jennifer anyway. Not only did she support me here and she supports me on Patreon, she made a very, very, very generous donation to the Make-A-Wish Foundation through our fundraiser, which, by the way, if you have not done that yet and you can find it within yourself to do that, it would be greatly appreciated. I'm going to post the link in the description again, but Jennifer has been very, very generous in her support, and she's obviously awesome. So thank you, Jennifer.
She's a better person than me. Mm-hmm. So,
and me, I'm evil because I'm a Nae'Blis.
Yeah.
But
and we've established I'm Oliver, so I'm just annoying.
Oliver, yeah. Well, you want to kill all the Ogier, or not Ogier.
I want to keep the
Aiel. That's what it is. Yeah.
No, I want to keep the. What are you talking about?
Oliver wants to kill. All the Aiel.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, I thought you were saying I want them cut from the show. And I'm like, no. I want them to amp up the Aiel in the waist a lot. Okay, I'm gonna end a little bit of a monologue here. Culture is what sets the Wheel of Time apart from almost any other fantasy show. Robert Jordan put more effort into these cultures than most people put in their entire books. And if the show wants to land, just having these moments of experiencing Aiel culture, Seafolk culture, Shan-Chan culture, Andor versus Mayhem culture, that will help the show enormously, because even people who aren't into fantasy dig seeing stuff where it's just kind of cultural clashes and stuff, because it's extraordinarily relatable and something you see in the real life. So I think it'll help immerse millions of people into the show if we can really spend some time digging in deep to the Aiel culture. That's my thoughts on that. I'd love to see one person try to post a counter argument to that, because I don't think you can.
Ditto.
Yeah, thank you. Very well put.
I got nothing to add to that, because I agree. I think that is I want to say, well, I'm not going to go there because that'll start us on a very controversial argument. But I will say this to add to that: culture is what sets Wheel of Time apart. I think it's what drew me to it. But culture, and hopefully people don't misunderstand this, culture is not race.
It's amazing how people can't set that apart in their heads. Yeah.
So that's all I'll say on that. I don't want to go down that rabbit hole again, but I am excited for the show.
Oh, apparently we have Daniel Henney and Madeline Madden have made posts from Prague. That's awesome. I have not seen those yet. You're going to show.
We're going to show
everyone collectively
on Instagram or Twitter.
I'm assuming Instagram. If it's going to be for Prague, it's going to be like pictures.
I don't know if I have them on Instagram.
Let's see. Thanks, guys. I love both your channels. I love you too, Shelly. I love you so much.
Hey,
right
on
now.
the off chance that like 3 of you have not subscribed to Daniel's channel, go subscribe to Daniel Greene's channel. It's spelled with an E at the end.
It's not Daniel Greene. I've had many people say that, and I judge them hard. Thank you for that.
I mean, I don't know if I'm going to be Daniel Henney from Prague.
Yeah, there's no.
Okay, nothing new. I thought
it's got to be from Twitter.
Okay.
Let's see.
You talk while I look. Okay?
Let's see. All right, Daniel Greene. Yeah, I've gotten weird stuff. It's unfortunate. Let's see. Both of you have the bell. Oh, but for both of us, she has the bell click. Yeah, if you haven't clicked the bell on our channel so you get notifications when we post, do
yes.
that. Also, for people who are in my Discord server, I'm gonna maybe stop doing the notifications from there. Just ring the bell on my channel. $2 from Shane. Thank you so much. How to cast a kid as Oliver without aging him out. Oh, cut Oliver entirely. Just get rid of him.
Daniel loves
It's
child
my least
characters
favorite character.
in shows.
I hate
in
all
general.
children characters. Children cannot act. In books, they're fine. In any kind of medium, unless they're being directed by like Steven Spielberg, they cannot act, and I'm not down for it. That's my opinion. Did you see the posters?
No, I think it was some of the other ones.
Okay.
At least if there's something new, I didn't see it. But
okay. No, I love Oliver. You have bad. No. Let's see. But who will blow the horn? Okay, we can change that. Make it Fail. I don't care. Okay, I do care. I'm not.
Make it Fail. That would be controversial.
Let's see.
I think he's integral to Matt's growing up.
There will be LGBTQ plus characters in the show. There are in the books. I mean, they just refer to it as. Robert Jordan did not like being explicit, but if you reread that series, knowing what he means by pillow friends and stuff like that, there's a couple gay people and there's a lot of lesbians and bi people. He definitely had that.
They made it a non-issue, and I think that's the
most progressive thing you can do is just make it not a big deal.
It just wasn't talked in the very same way. Yeah, it just wasn't talked about as being a big deal.
At the chance of making a bunch of people angry, my mom, she's gay, and she says representation's equal when it doesn't matter if a person's a villain or a hero or whatever, and their sexuality is not tied into that at all. It's just a thing about them, and I hope that's how it is for the show. Mm-hmm. That's how you do it well. Let's see.
Although I will add one thing. The one area I do not want my opinion, get roasted. Because somebody just mentioned this. It would be awkward if 2 of Rand's 3 girls were bisexual. I don't want the gay, bi, the LGBTQ plus. I don't want that representation on the show to be Rand's 3 women happen to all be with each other. And that's the only thing that we see. Because to me, what that is an overly sexualized version. Yeah. Where it's like we're having a big.
What about just 2 of them together?
Well, possibly. You get what I'm saying? So what I mean by that is like I don't want that to be the only place that we see that.
Right.
Because to me, that's just it's feeding into this. Yeah. That's sexual.
That's
Does that make sense? What I mean?
Too far.
So that's where I would not be okay with that. But I think outside of that, well, guys, we are going to wrap up. We've gone longer than I would normally go, and Daniel has a lot of talking to do yet today. So
I got a whole interview to do.
Yeah. So I want to give a big thank you to Daniel Greene for coming over and being on the channel.
Thank you for having me on.
Anytime. I'm sure we'll do something like this again, but maybe.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I wanted to do collab videos for a while. We need to do collab like actual videos.
If only we lived close to each other and could do this more often.
Actually, I'm CGI'd in.
Yeah. My hand would disappear. I don't know. Anyways, well, guys, thank you all for joining. I'm going to quickly link the Make-A-Wish again because I am shamelessly plugging this. If you all, I'm trying to raise $5,000 through the channel for Make-A-Wish. I just put the link in the description below. I know a bunch of you already have while we were sitting here. I was getting a bunch of notifications on the phone, which is awesome. Thank you all for doing that. Guys, thanks again for joining. You all take care. Signing off. I wish Daniel can punch the camera like he normally does.
Yeah, it's too far away.
All right, bye.
I don't want to actually punch your monitor. You have to hit end.
Bye.
All right. That was fun.